Beautiful, beautiful day to you. Okay. Staying committed to the task, y'all. Definitely in healing mode right now. My throat feels raspy. So it's about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted to make sure that I stay committed to the task at hand, making sure that I show up to remind you exactly who you are and about this activation process that's happening right now. So first of all, I just want to thank you so much for showing up for yourself. Make sure you put a thumbs up on the video, so we can start getting this algorithm out to other people. I would really appreciate it if you come on in and put a thumbs up on the video. All right, so remember we've been talking about this energy now, maybe from since about the middle of the month or so, right? We talked about this energy coming up towards the end of the month, going into Thanksgiving, and from approximately about the 30th, between the 30th and the 31st of October, definitely Halloween, up until about November 5th, you wanted to be mindful of the energy that was coming in because of that anorexic degree. Okay. The sun is currently in Scorpio, which means energy is going to be intense. Now, keep in mind, when we're talking about these energies, we're talking about archetypes, okay? And archetypes, each archetype have a different energetic pattern that they rule with, okay? So Scorpio's energetic pattern is very intense and it likes to get to the depth of things, right? So depending on who is I want to say, depending on who is in the situation, you can find that arguments tend to be very explosive, and as well as it's not just something current. You can find that this is stuff that's been piling up for a while, and then it just got explosive, right? So you want to be mindful of that energetic degree because within that energetic degree, people may not necessarily want to talk it out. They may want to put hands on or use other means of communication. Okay, so. Just be mindful, okay? Not everybody that says they want to be problem resolution based for the next week or so wants to be problem based, okay? So between now and the 4th, you really just want to be mindful, okay? They really like that. That's the energy that's out here. Is they really like that. So if you know someone is argumentative, deflective, defensive, this may not be the best energy for you to problem resolution anything with this person. Okay, I'm just saying. All right. Um, I am not going to spend a lot of time going into the planets today just because I want to rest my voice and get this message out. But I do want to remind you we have approached an anoretic degree. Okay. Um, Give me 1 second. I want to see. All right, we're approaching that energetic degree with Mars and Scorpio. Okay, so between now and the 5th, this energy can be very explosive. All right, so we're approaching that energetic degree. Just be mindful of your intentions when you go to speak about anything that you want to bring resolution to. Okay, not everybody's resolution based. Just so you know, not everybody's resolution based in this energy, so you want to be mindful of that. All right, y'all. Um, Before I begin this transmission, let me go ahead and I need to go ahead and I need to clear my throat chakra. I like that. That was a good, steady tone. And the last one. All right, we're going to take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose and out through your mouth. The reason why I'm doing this is because I need to remind you that everything is a tone and you have your own unique tone in the universe. All right. And your breath connects you to everything. All right. So first I'm going to remind you of your tone and then I'm going to remind you of your breath. Okay. So you need to understand that breathing is important. How you breathe is important. That's going to be how you access a lot of these gateways is through breath and meditation. And I'm not talking about meditation where you're sitting down with your legs crossed. I'm talking about you becoming a walking, breathing, living meditation, right? Because you meditate all day, every day. Meditation means to mutter, to repeat, okay? Meditate means to mutter, to repeat. So you're muttering or repeating things in your consciousness or your mind all day. All right, so it's more about being in a mindful place of meditation via a mindless place of meditation where you're not thinking about what thoughts are running through your mind. Okay, this is an era that we cannot do that anymore. In the quasi era, excuse me, is no more allowing wild thoughts just to roam. All right, no more doing that. Okay, I have to put y'all on mute for 1 second while I blow my nose. 1 second, y'all. Okay, so before I begin this transmission and this channel message, I do want to let you know that you are your own guru, all right? So let me just go ahead and run down my disclaimers right here real quick, okay? First and foremost, I just want to say my intention in all of these videos in the quasi era is to bring truth, clarity, and coherence with love. Okay, making sure that you understand, unity consciousness first starts within you. You first have to balance yourself, your masculine and your feminine energy within you, and then and only then can we begin to see unity consciousness globally. Okay, so the first person that needs to change has to be you. So if you want to affect change in the world, you start by changing you. Okay. So now that we've got that clear, right, my intention here is to help you to remember who you are. That is my purpose here. I am a bridge, all right? So now that I remember who I am and why I'm here, let's get into this, right? All right, disclaimer is these messages are not for everyone, right? If you are not willing to do your work and to look at yourself and to reflect on what you may be hiding, deflecting, not acknowledging within yourself, whether it needs to be loved, whether it needs to be healed, right? Whether it's a hypocritical part of you that needs to come to the surface and be faced, whatever it is, right? The deal is you got to do the work, okay? So these videos are not for everyone, especially if you don't want to do your own internal work. None of this is going to resonate for you, okay? Next, you need to know that access to the spiritual realm and to all of these dimensions that we talk about and to all of these levels that we talk about, right, are granted to you based on what you believe or your inner knowing, all right? You're not going to get past the limitations that you have within yourself, all right? If you set limits within yourself, that is going to block you from getting to different levels within your spiritual journey. Just know that, all right? So you can work on the limits if you have any. Next, energy is fluid, okay? So I can say that this is your energy, but it feels more like the energy that you're interacting with. So you want to place the energy where it needs to be, okay? Um, you want to keep what you need, leave what you don't, and shelf what you don't understand in case you need to circle on back for some confirmation, information, motivation, or inspiration. I think I said that. Last but not least, okay? I am not your guru. 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 Okay, you are your own guru. You need no one out externally outside of you to tell you what needs to be brought to balance in your life. You don't need anyone to get you to source. You don't need anyone to send a message to source for you. You have direct connection with source. You are your own guru. Okay, I am just here as a guide to help you along the way on your journey. Okay, I am not your savior. You're gonna have to save yourself. Okay, all right. Now that we got that out the way, okay? Bottom of the deck energy that we're tapping in today, I keep trying to explain to you guys the best way that you can get through this energy at this point is being your authentic self. That is the name of the game. You got to be authentically you as you're moving throughout this energy, right? I've explained in a few videos how we're on different timelines and how these comments that's in our that's in our atmosphere right now are activating us. All right, just really quickly, whenever you see Syrian A energy pop up, this is energy of integrity, honesty, truth, right, transparency. All right. You can also see a lot going on in the oceans when this energy pop up, because they also rule all of the creatures in the sea. So this energy rules the creatures in the sea, right? So you can find that some of you are connecting to water energy. Okay, you may also need to be close to water in this energy. All right. This energy can also represent accomplishment, success, loyalty. Okay, so this is very beautiful energy. And the fact that it's upright lets me know that you have grounds to stand on your integrity and honesty today. All right. Now, what's pairing with that energy is universal love, right? Whenever universal love frequency pops up, this is to activate the connection that you have with other people, all right? Not just to the planet, but other people, other energies, and everything in existence. All right, so this is where you begin to feel energy, not just see energy. Okay, so truth and honesty is coming in today, and integrity, saying be honest with yourself, but be open to feel the love is really what is coming to mind. The love around you that's not just physical love, whether it's the beauty of the trees, whether it's the beauty of the sunlight, whether it's the beauty of a flower, whether it's just you walk into a room and you can feel the beautiful energy, the peaceful energy that brings wholeness to your being. It don't matter. You're gonna have to learn how to read energy in this era, right? But the overall message they want you to set off with today is start your day off in honesty and integrity. If no, at least if with nobody else, with yourself. Okay. So instead of saying yes today for something that you really don't want to do, right? Be honest and say no. I'll pass. So can I get back to you on that? I have to think about that, right? Or instead of saying no today for something that you really want to experience, why don't you say yes, right? If you really want to experience, why don't you say yes, right? Allowance is popping up today, as well as soul time. And I think soul time, I don't remember soul time came out already this week. All right. So let's take a look here. Allowance and soul time. Now, what I feel with the allowance energy, and it's 9, which means completion. 9 operates in all 3 of the planes, right? It operates on the mental plane, the soul plane, which is the spiritual plane, and it operates on the physical plane, okay? So whenever I see the number 9 pops up, I think about merging all aspects of yourself, right? So you're moving with awareness with the number 9, because 9 is all about completions also, okay? So you're moving with some type of awareness today, whether you're aware of someone's motives, whether you're aware of your own feelings, or you're aware of someone's feelings or intention, right? Move with awareness today and allow the things that you have no control over, just allow them to flow, okay? Say, for example, you know, a meeting is scheduled today for 9 o'clock, and they don't start the meeting until 9:15, and you're a person that, you're a stickler for time, so you're irritated. Allow that to flow. Allow that to flow, right? Anything today that's coming your way, you need to allow it to flow. The path of least resistance is the name of the game today, okay? Because your energy is your currency. The path of least resistance is the name of the game today. All right. There's a lot of green going on here, and that lets me know this is heart chakra energy, but it seems like there's a tree of life in here also. And with this orange tonus, this yellowish orange tonus, the first thing that comes to mind is your sacral chakra. So leave your heart open today, especially with your personal relationships and those close to you and the emotions linked to that, right? Because not everybody sees the world the way you do. Okay, when this card comes up, it invites you to be open to whatever comes your way without judgment, right? Without an opinion, without fear, without resistance, right? You just allow the wave to come in to the boundary and go back out to the ocean. All right. When you begin to understand that it's really like a breath, right? You have a choice whether or not you want to stay angry, you want to stay mad, you want to stay in anxiety, or you want to stay in fear. You really do have that choice, right? And I'm not saying that it's easy, because sometimes when you're going through things, especially if your physical environment does not reflect spiritually, which you are in the process of manifesting, there could be some frustration, there could be some judgment, there could be other people's opinion, you could feel some fear, right? But what's being asked of you today is allow. Sometimes, you don't know what you're being saved from or you're being saved for, right? Just allow things that you cannot control today to flow. Remembering that you are safe. Everything that's unfolding is for your greatest and highest good, and you are divinely protected, right? Now, one of the things that's being pushed out in this energy constantly is the energy of fear and the energy of lack and the energy of judgment. So these are the energies that you need to be mindful of today, okay? Because remember, energy is being mirrored back to us, okay? So if you're out here vibrating on the pulsation of judgmental energy, guess what? You will be judged, because people are reflecting back to you what you're putting out. Okay? So if you made it this far to this channel, you need to know, all right? And we've been over this in the past couple of videos about your words and what you speak, all right? So today's a day of allowance, okay? What you can't control, you're going to allow it to ebb and flow. Whatever comes your way, okay? And then what you're doing too is paying attention to how you feel when whatever it is comes your way. Did that make you upset? So the question should not be so much I'm mad today, or you made me mad, or why the fuck you did that. It should be, why am I feeling like this? Especially around the people that are naturally being who they are, okay? Now, you got soul time energy popping up here, and this is popping up as number 40. 4 represents the number of doing. This is a number of doing, okay? And this 4 shows up on the physical plane. This is the practical self, okay? This is the autopilot self, all right? So the soul time energy is the frequency of the soul time, asks us to allow possibilities of new realities to emerge, okay? One that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body is mortal, right, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. This is what we've been saying all of the time. This is an era of remembering. When we're talking about ascension, we're talking about remembering, okay? So when the soul time energy comes in, it's asking you just to be aware of the new energies that are here, right? If you're walking in allowance, your soul is guiding you into the newness or the next phase of your journey or your experience. And it does not have to be like the past one. It does not have to exemplify any type of lack. It does not have to exemplify any type of disappointment where your heart is broken, because now you know. Now you're paying attention to the red flags, right? Now you know you can only have lack if you choose to see lack, right? Because lack is an energetic vibe. It's an energy thing, right? Now, to some people, especially if you're saying, well, I've been putting out resumes for a while, and I've been doing this for a while, and I've been doing this for a while, and I've been doing this for a while, my question then becomes to you is, once you've put out your resume, once you shut the computer down, what conversations are replaying in your mind? I've shuffled these cards several times, and this is a card that keeps popping up at the bottom of the deck. Okay. We go back to integrity and being truthful with yourself. I'm also going to pull out the blue avian card also, but this is showing up in reverse, okay? Once again, you have energy from the sirens, energetic pattern, asking you to be honest with yourself, okay? You also have you also have, again, my throat, y'all, excuse me. You also have the blue avian showing up. And when the blue avians show up in reverse, right, this is energy of bitchy energy. This is energy of somebody maybe even flipping out. This is energy of somebody being uptight. This is energy of irresponsibility. This is energy of irritation. And this is energy of, I want to say, a very superior-ish behavior, okay? So to let you know, you over here operate in integrity and honesty, but you could have energy of somebody that could come across very bitchy and nasty and mean and rude today. So the question is, are you going to flip back on them? Remember, your energy is your currency, right? So if you walk into a coffee shop this morning to get you a cup of coffee, and the person at the register has a nasty or bitchy attitude, you don't have to respond back with a nasty or bitchy attitude. You get to keep your integrity. You get to own your energetic currency, because you understand, for you to even reflect back that energy to that person, right? That's a waste of energy. That's a waste of energy. To argue with the person in a coffee shop over a cup of coffee, that's a waste of energy. I'm just gonna tell you right now. Been there, done that. We have wasted energy in places that I did not need to waste energy. This is not a game anymore. This is literally you tapping into the highest octave of yourself. And when you tap into the highest octave of yourself, you realize even people with bitchy and nasty attitude, really what's going on is they don't know who they are either. They don't know who they are either. And not only don't they know who they don't understand, with that bitchy and nasty attitude that they've been pushing out at people, they liable to get that back. Right? Because we are just mirrors reflecting back to each other the things that we need to evolve or embrace. So your goal is to allow what you cannot control today to flow in, okay? Be an observer today. Be an observer of your energy, your feelings, and your body today, okay? And I don't think I did it at the beginning of the video where I asked you to drop into your body and see where the tightness is, okay? But now would be a good time. Take a deep breath and drop in and see where your tightness is in your body, right? What is your body trying to tell you? What energy, what stress, what fear, what anxiety, what doubt, what heartache, what are you holding on to, and where is it showing up in your body? Right? What are you holding on to, and where is it showing up in your body? So I just want you to know that today's a day of allowance. You're going to have to allow some things to happen today, but you're also going to have to pay attention and recognize that people are in the atmosphere that they don't necessarily have the patience to be kind or loving. And it's interesting how universal love started out at the beginning of the reading, right? Universal love started out and it popped out like shit. This is why it popped out. It popped out because you might be interacting with people that, and especially in this approaching this anoretic degree. Yeah, boy. Approaching this anoretic degree, you're going to have to really just be mindful not to allow people to trigger you. Work on your triggers. A purge is happening. Surrender. And I think this is what's happening too. When you surrender to the things you can control and the things you can't control, then nobody could hold you hostage. Not emotionally, not mentally, Okay, and then you also have distance, retreat, or time out. And I definitely feel like this is the energy that we're in today, because there's energy of people wanting to pop off. Just distance yourself from that energy. Release what you can't control. Surrender to your higher self, right? Your intuition, right? And allow yourself to purge. And can I just say this too? This is initiation season. So a lot of you are going to be going through some type of purge. And I also want to say the purge may not necessarily be people or things leaving your experience. The purge can happen where you can feel it in your physical body, okay? Throwing up, nauseousness, a lot of mucus just coming up, okay? The purge is also going to expel some things from your body. Okay, for some of you, you may feel like you want to gag. For some of you, you can feel super gassy, all right? Just know that these are things being expelled from your body also, all right? As above, so below, as within, so without. All right, so you can't purge your external and think your internal is also not going to be purged, okay? Everything is connected to your nervous system. Starting next week, we're going to tap in a little bit more with our transmissions. Some of our transmissions is going to start to go through each nervous system and tackle each one of them and see where they're connected to not just your 12-strand DNAs, but also to your 12 octaves of activation for the crystalline grid as well as the sophionic grid, okay, or the crystals grid or the sophionic grid, all right? And if I'm being honest with you, this is just energetic grids, right? So just like if you think of electricity, how we have electrical grids, there's also energetic grids. I'm so sorry, y'all. Whew. Okay, that's my cue. Confirmation. I need to wrap this on up and get my butt back in the bed. Okay, so okay, it's 5:35 a.m., y'all. All right. And I definitely wanted to make sure I touch bases with you guys today. All right, so your energy is your currency today. Don't give that shit away. Don't give that shit away. Don't get into to useless arguments, right? Don't get mad at somebody for being who they are, right? You don't have to call everybody out for everything that they do. Today's not a day to waste your energy. Today's a day to preserve your honesty and your integrity, because you are going to be meeting people with not so nice energy, very moody, very bitchy, very spiteful energy showing up here today. Your job is to allow the things you cannot control to flow in towards a boundary and go back out towards the ocean, okay? Which means take a deep breath before you respond to things, okay? Completion and allowance is in order, and remembering that your soul is now stepping into something new, right? And it's time, it's happening, it's in the cosmos, right? But a lot of times when we step into something new, it can feel a little uncomfortable at first, or it may be exciting. It can feel a little uncomfortable at first because you got to get used to your surroundings. You got to get used to the new feel of things. You got to get used to the new sight of things, right? So this is new, right? Be happy in the new also. Don't hold on to anything today that wants to get to be released, right? Anything today that wants to be released, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a emotion, a judgment, or a thought, okay, allow it to release. And you can't get there because remember, you're not trying to control anything today, you're just observing, right? Okay, so on that note, my loves, this is what we finna do, right? And we did not charge our waters today or yesterday. So I need to make a note to myself and stick it on here that we need to charge our waters, because I will forget. You want to go ahead, my loves, and you want to do something kind for yourself. All right, not because you should, because you should. Do something kind for yourself because you should. You want to do something kind for somebody else too, not because you have to, but because you can, right? And joy is contagious, confidence is contagious, bliss is contagious, happiness is contagious, right? And happiness loves company too. Like happy people want other happy people around them, right? So you go ahead and be kind to somebody, not because they deserve it, but because you can. All right. Remember to be authentically true to yourself. Do not commit yourself to things that you really don't want to do. Allow your yeses to be yes and your no's to be no's, okay? I am going back in my bed, y'all. I don't think you guys are going to see me later on the day. My hair hurt a little bit. My voice feel a little raspy. But I will be back on here tomorrow, okay? I'm going back to bed. I want you guys to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. I love you much. And I will see you wonderful souls tomorrow. Bye, my loves.